What is love? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me in my What is Love project. 30 days exploring what is not, and whatever is love. Day 21. Kindness. Love is kindness. Kindness is love. They sort of go hand in hand. And when we love, we are kind. Which in turn, the kindness make us want to help people, care for people the way that we are capable of. I think this is just very natural things that happen when we love and when we are kind. But then sometimes it's like kindness actually gives us a little bit of problem. I don't know about you, but sometimes I hear people say that they are too kind and they feel hurt sometimes, and sometimes they feel people take advantage of them. Can you relate to that? I certainly can. When I read that, and I had that feeling before, but then I never really looked at it until someone said it again and again. So I finally looked at it and I thought, that shouldn't have happened. Love and kindness are a very good thing. It's almost like it makes us indestructible. Love. So what went wrong? And then, well, if you feel this sometime, let me ask you, are you kind to yourself? Are you kind to yourself first? So I heard people talked about boundaries. And they said we need to have boundaries because otherwise we give so much, we don't have the energy, and then we're just tired, and then it's not good for us, so we must have boundaries. So I looked at the boundaries and I started thinking out all the scenario about so how do I draw the boundary? Where is like the lines? Is it a circle? But the line I started drawing is kind of irregular because there are different importance for different people in our lives. And then what if a stranger has an emergency and we happen to be there? How do we help these people? How much time do we give? How do we set the rules? When do we know if it's enough? When people keep asking for it? When is the time that we know that they are okay now to go forward? Because we have our own lives. And then there are other people that might need our attention. And so while I was like scratching my head, one day when I was doing yoga class, I had this realization. It was it's probably the middle of the class. We were standing there, resting, and the teacher said, we're centering. And I thought, I don't know how to draw the line, especially because love has no boundaries. That's it. But then what if I'm able to be centered all the time, or most of the time? And from there, I determine what I want to do with my love, my time, my energy, when I want to help and give based on me. And I started thinking, okay, maybe that's selfish. You know how we were brought up to help people, to give, not so much about receiving. So so I just thought, okay, let me have some inspiration, please, to understand what to do, how to be centered. And once again, I found great inspiration from trees. And you see, trees, when some trees, they're very healthy and strong. They have this big canopy, and the trees provide us with shade. And it's able to do that because it's always rooted. It takes all the nutrient and water, whatever is necessary for its growth from the soil, and is firmly standing there together with the root help. And all the time it's kind of straight, and it constantly reaches for the light, which is another source of goodness that it needs. And when that happens, when the tree constantly get all the goodness from above and below, it grow wide, and it naturally provides us with shade. And for fruit trees, obviously, without all these essential needs, the basic needs, when it's not fulfilled, the trees would not have fruit. And when its needs are fulfilled, it got fruit, and we eat them. But the tree will never go out of its way and say, let me go over to you now, because there you have no shade, you're under the sun, let me shelter you. Or please come and eat my fruit. No, the trees don't. They kind of just let people come. And I see it's like, it's centered. It will do good things for us naturally, even cleansing the air, and it doesn't stop, and it has no problem, because this is what a tree will naturally do. And so I thought, okay, let me do a little test. Maybe I would see what I would naturally do. And the trees provide us with a lot, holding the soil together and many things. But I don't think many of us will go over to each and every tree every day and say, I thank you, and I thank you. We don't. So I thought, okay, what if when someone asks me for help, or I want to offer my help, what if I say to myself, would I do it if this person is not going to thank me at all? What if this person would just disappear from my life after whatever I have done for them? And what if this person even say, well, your help was quite awful, it was very bad, and walked away? It would be just like if we take a fruit from the tree and was like, oh, this is so sour, let me just throw it away. The trees don't mind. And I think as humans, I don't know about you, sometimes I feel, I spent all this time, all this effort, and I get this, not a thank you, and criticism. And I felt hurt. So I thought, okay, let me be like a tree and see what happens. So by being like a tree, I mean I look after myself, look after my needs, and I will go and help people. I will give when I am capable. If this is something that I can do, and if I have the time and energy, I start from myself, what I can offer. And I will also ask myself a question. Will I do it if this person is going to disappear? Or even come back and say to me, that was bad. And so at the beginning of that little test period, I thought I was going to become a very selfish person, totally self-centered, and probably I would just be by myself all the time then. But then the interesting thing was, I found that I actually naturally wanted to do a lot of things that people might ask me to do with them, or I will actually offer. This is what I actually naturally want to do. This gives me so much joy. It just happened to be a help in your perspective. May I be involved? And so I started realizing that, hey, that love and kindness, it is real. It really does make us naturally help people and care for people. And but then it always needs to start from ourselves. Because while we spend energy and time for other people, who's going to look after us? And so I think I need to look after myself first. Then you look after yourself. And then when we are energized from all the help, all the good thing that we give ourselves, we will have the time and energy, and we will naturally bond with each other. And it's almost just like we walk together, doing what we naturally would do along the way. And so I thought of a way to remind myself, because when I started doing this test and changing my habits, there is a period of time where I need to adjust. I might become like very slow in my head and think, okay, when someone asks me to help something, I will be pausing and I will be thinking, and then I will give an answer. And sometimes it would be easier to go back to the old habit, because maybe you also have the same habit that you find it difficult to say no. And so that is another skill, saying no. Or maybe it's not a no. Maybe it's like another time, maybe it's telling the truth. This is not really what I enjoy. It's not that easy for me, and right now I don't have the time. Because this is also very important, the skills to talk, especially I found when I suddenly make the change. When before I would always say, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it to everybody. And then one day if I stop doing that and I said, no, the person might be paranoid. They might think that, okay, I have a problem with them. So I would just say the truth, which is I haven't had enough sleep, and that would take some time, so I cannot do it. Or I found that, yes, I've been doing this for you for many times, but I found that it actually stressed me out quite a bit. And so maybe there's something else I can do with you, and maybe when you find out, then you can tell me and I see if that's okay for me. And so let me share with you the way I like to use to help myself, which basically is to have that inspiration from the tree. And we're going to use our whole body as like a metaphor to do a very simple movement which has a calming effect. So you might stand up and do it with me together, or I'll just go through it here with you and you can do it at your own time. It's very easy. I use it as a metaphor, but at the same time, because it has a calming effect, you can use it whenever you want to have some calmness, whether you're distressed about something or you come back home from the traffic, you want to quickly relax down before you prepare dinner or do something else. It's very easy and it doesn't take long. So let me just stand up. Okay, you can see me, you can see me, yes. So again, I would do it without shoes. So my feet have that maximum contact with the floor. We can do it outside as well, doesn't matter. And I'll place my hands on my heart, wherever I think my heart is. And I would imagine that I'm actually touching my heart. The pure part of the heart, the pure love part of the heart. And then when I begin the movement, I will see if my feet are comfortable with the distance that they were. And then I'm a bit steady. And I will move from side to side. So the metaphor basically is that, a tree doesn't move. It doesn't move from the root part. And so my feet are kind of like the root part. They're firmly on the floor, having that maximum contact and giving me a very strong base, very strong foundation, so that I can reach up to the light to be centered. And while I sway a little bit from side to side, it's just like a tree in the wind. It has this natural movement. But it doesn't mean that it will get swayed by everyone. We just have this natural movement. And our feet are still firmly on the ground. And that is the foundation that a metaphor for that foundation, that we are physical beings and we have these physical needs, the sleep, the food, water, even relaxed time. And then if I feel comfortable, I'll kind of have my whole body doing circle. And the circle is pretty much where the hip is. The hips are. It's like the hips are drawing circle on the ground. But usually when I ask people to do this movement, they don't really need to think about, okay, this is my hip and I do this and I do this. That will actually take away from the exercise. It's meant to be very simple. When you just think, okay, I'm doing circles, just allow your body to go. And if the circles are not perfect circles, it's okay. And maybe someday when I'm very stressed, it will take me a while to do a proper circle, and it's okay. I just keep on going. And when I feel I want to, I change directions. And I might even go back to side to side. And all the time, get in touch with that pure love part of your heart. And just feel it. Feel how, perhaps when you're doing this, being aware of your feet, the contact with the floor, and being aware that you might be growing taller and taller even with all this movement. And being relaxed. And feel maybe you can get to feel that pure love from your heart expanding to all directions. And I think when we get to feel it, it will certainly help us understand further that how love is from the self, because that love from my heart, when it radiates out, it needs to go through my whole body, like it just go up, 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 like front to back to a big bubble, and it go out and out. And that love has no boundary, but it's okay, because when our love is in this way, we ourselves will absorb all the goodness that we need from that pure love. So that's it. I hope you will find some time to see what this little simple movement can take you. And people often ask, okay, how long to do a certain technique? Not long, maybe 5 minutes. Just remember, if you do it every day, it's like you remind yourself every day of being centered. And that little 5 minutes add up, and it will give you amazing results. So do however long or short you feel like. There are no rules. This is so simple, you can even do in the middle of the day, at the end of the day, and just enjoy it. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. See you tomorrow.